much. Just like to echo, had a great experience here at the Holiday Bowl, and I want to thank them personally and as a program for everything that they've done for us. Outstanding. I think it's 1 degree back home today, so glad to be out here, and we're motivated to play a football game, and I'll take some questions.
Mark, the chance to get to 10 wins, is this something that you preached quite a bit, I guess, in the last few days? How have you tried to keep your guys focused on that?
Well, I think every time you have an opportunity to play a football game, you got to be ready, and you got to be fresh to do that. But your mindset's got to be correct. So we're going to try and make sure that that's in place. The opportunity to get 10, whether it's Washington State or for us, I think puts us in a double-digit type win category. Both football teams, and not too many football teams in the country can do that on a yearly basis. So that's our goal. That's our goal as we came out here, was to play our best football and move it forward.
Mark, we've talked a lot about this senior class, but last night they go through their last practice. I know a lot of them posted stuff about how emotional that was. What was that like for the last time for those guys, especially this class and what they've meant to the program?
I think anytime you take your jersey off for the last time or practice with your teammates, that you start to go through emotions. There's you got to get some closure. So we try and make that special for them at the end of practice a little bit, and it becomes an emotional experience for some of our guys. But those guys have been to the playoff game. They've been, had some great moments here. So we're just looking for another life moment for them.
Coach, you've been able to coach some really talented quarterbacks in Connor Cook and Kirk Cousins. How does a guy like Brian Lewerke compare to those caliber of players?
Brian's a sophomore, so we've got a very young football team, much like Washington State. So I think for the future of the entire program, both programs probably looks pretty bright. But Brian is a guy that can create in the pocket. He's also got the ability to recognize things quickly and get the ball out quickly. He's got a strong arm. So there's a lot of similarities between Hoyer, Cousins, Cook a little bit with him, but he is his own guy a little bit too. So the fact that he can create and he's run for 540 yards, net, is a big positive for us. We've not had that with our quarterback situation in the past, but he can throw it.
Mark, with all the
youth that's on the team this year, how much different has this bowl experience been for you guys as a team, first for a lot of these guys?
It's been different. It's been an initial bowl experience for some of our guys, for our freshmen and last year's freshmen, which makes up 53 players on our football team. So that's been a positive, I think, though. I think our players have been excited about everything. Everything is a new experience for a lot of those guys, and then you've got half the team sort of leading them because they've been to the Rose Bowl or they've been to a Cotton Bowl or two. So there's positive on both ends there, and we've got a great experience, and we've done what we needed to do leading up to this football game. Now we've got to close. And to me, closing is playing your very best. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but playing your very best.
Coach, you were a defensive back in your playing career. What have you seen from Alex Granch and his secondary? And they're top 15 in a lot of categories this season.
Yeah, I think what gets lost in the shuffle a little bit is how good Washington State's defense is. 15th in total defense, number 1 against on third down in the country, in third down defense. And they get on you, they play you tight, they provide pressure. A lot of different pressure, a lot of different people running from different places, and you've got to beat them. So we've got to make plays on 50-50 balls, much like they do. You got to put the ball in the vicinity, and the receiver's got to make the tough catch, and then that run after catch is so important as well. So we got to limit it on the offensive side, on our defensive side, and then obviously on we've got to be able to exploit it on our offense.
Mark, obviously they're very talented, but when they have lost, it's because they've been forced in pressure to get the quarterback off a high center. For you, is that the biggest key defensively to this game, is getting him to move?
I think when you talk about critical to winning, you're always talking about, protect our quarterback and pressure theirs. That's the name of the game, I think, in college football and probably in pro football as well. You get him off the dime, get him off his landmark. Good things happen for the defense if he's able to throw with time. Bad things happen for our defense. So I think that's that usually leads to turnovers or sacks, which it takes. That's always a key in every football game, I think. So this is no different. But they have an outstanding quarterback. I don't know how many records he's broken in the Pac-12, and you go back a lot of years, a lot of great players. So what they do offensively is, I think, cutting edge conceptually, and we're going to have to play well and play up here. We're gonna have to play fast, but we're gonna have to play with our minds as well.
Couple more questions for Coach Dantonio.
Mark, just first off, how familiar are you with the air raid offense, and what kind of challenges does this offense present to you in this game coming up?
Well, we played, I think with great concepts across the country. There's, somebody's going to always take part of that and implement it in their offense. I mean, we got some of the same things that they do in our offense, okay? But we're not just totally in that regard. We played against Texas Tech when I was at Ohio State. We played against Texas Tech when we were at Michigan State in 2009. So there's a little similarity there. There's a little bit, but I think what they do now, because everybody's always changing their offense or defense and critiquing what they do and implementing new concepts. So this is 2017. This is a new game. I can tell you we're going to have to tackle well. We're going to have to pressure the quarterback, and we're going to have to make plays on deep balls and balls in general.
One more question for Coach.
It's a raccoon question. I got no raccoons. We trapped one once.
Close, actually, not far off. You had mentioned, I think, when the bowl selections came out, you mentioned Coach Leach's press conferences, that sort of thing. I was wondering if you have a favorite rant or story or soundbite of his that you've heard that you either agreed with or found particularly entertaining.
No, I got to tell you, I live in a bubble, so I don't really, I'm not out there surfing the net or anything like that. But always had a great time talking to Coach Leach, and I think that he's one of the outstanding coaches in this country, and I think that all the other stuff sort of gets put over here. I look at the coach; he's an outstanding coach. Guys, all good?